Hello and welcome to the Captain's Table podcast. My name is Paul Berserker01 Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the Astro Pub, your space professor at the Astro Historian, and your moderator here at the Captain's Table podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about Star Citizen news, lore, and more. We bring people from all over the Star Citizen universe to talk about the game. Today we've got a very interesting topic, basically going over the new player experience, and we were lucky enough to have a brand new player or newish player to the universe here with us to join us through the conversation. But before we get to that, let's introduce each of our guests, starting with you, Apollonaut. Who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen, and where can they find you?
Right, I'm Apollonaut. I do a lot of things. I'm a new player guide. I've done over 200 guide sessions at this point, bringing new people into the game. I also run an org called Soul Armada, accessible at soularmada.space. We're up in here. We've been doing that for 10 years. We had a booth in LA at CitizenCon. I also run the California Bar Citizens Discord server, and I'm coordinating with the Bar Citizen International team to help train new people for how to run Bar Citizens. So that's in the works. There's a lot of cool stuff that I'm doing. I'm excited to be part of the community, as always.
Awesome. I am getting okay, cool. Someone was saying there's no sound, but apparently it's working now. Sin, who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen, and where can they find you?
Well, I'm not nearly as cool as him, but I'm Sin. I go by Simple Strife. I have been playing Star Citizen since May, so pretty much a baby. I stream over here on Twitch at Simple Strife, and mainly in the game, I say I do a lot of like ship combat against NPCs and a lot of bunker missions. I like the pew pews. So.
Awesome. Now, I will ask you both of this because all three of us were at Quantum Vegas. So I do want y'all to y'all's first off, before we get into the topic, what was your experience? Did you enjoy yourselves at Quantum Vegas? And what would you tell people if who haven't gone if they were interested in going next year? Sin, how about you?
For me, it was a really, really good event. I think just for me, a lot of stuff I had to keep asking the person that I came with, like, what ship is that? What are they talking about? What is this? Like, there was a lot of information and there was a lot of stuff in the game that I didn't even think about. Like when they had those topics where they talked about like what you wanted to see in the game and to see all the different gameplay mechanics that people do, I think that was really cool. So I think that if someone was interested in going, I think it's worth it just for like the sheer amount just to see outside of your bubble what can be done in the game.
Awesome. Apollo, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it just kind of reinforced what I've always believed about the in-person events for Star Citizen, and that it's always worth it to go. Um, the people that you meet in person are always going to be way nicer and kinder and more generous than they're going to be in the game. Um, there's just so much just hugging and camaraderie, and, people meeting each other for the first time after playing the game for years together, stuff like that happening. Um, and of course, having CIG there is really cool. Being able to talk with them face to face and get their opinions on things and give your own experience so that they can reflect on it. Really valuable. Um, yeah, overall, it was a really fun event. It was a really cool venue. Area 15's
Oh yeah.
kind of unique. I think that was perfect for us. And yeah, had a really good time.
Awesome. Yeah, so I enjoyed it from the running perspective. One of the things that CIG kept telling us was like, yeah, this is for your first event. There's been no technical issues. It's insane what you've been able to do, and the little few technical issues you've had, you've been able to like roll with it pretty easily. So yeah, so hopefully we can do this more often. So those of you who weren't able to go because you either didn't know about it or you didn't weren't able to for other reasons, we hope to do this yearly, but it does require everyone to get as much people to sign up as possible. And if you want to help us out for next year, um, there are donations, so you can still donate to our group because we're not run by CIG. It's like seven of us who are part of the committee, or 7 or 8 of us who are part of the committee who are helping to put this together. And I am the least active and vocal in that committee, but people like Griff, who's in chat, and Fast Card, and a lot of the people you saw on stage were people who helped organize this event. So help us out as much as you can. All right, with that, let's get started with the discussion on the new player experience. And we'll start off with just a general overview. Apollo, what is the new player experience like today, based off of your opinion, both, maybe as you've tried it yourself, or, you said you're a guide, so based off
Yeah.
of talking with new people, just a little, like a quick summary right now in Star Citizen.
So it's the tutorial. So when we first launch in on a new patch, you get the little prompt that says, "Would you like to do the tutorial?" And a lot of us veterans will click skip, but new players see that and they're like, "Oh, I might as well." And it puts you into the PU, into the persistent universe. You're just in the game doing a mission, and it wakes you up in the hab, and it says, "Okay, there's a water bottle sitting on the desk. Go drink it." And you start, I believe, with a helmet off. I don't think you're wearing a helmet. And then it says, "Okay, now eat this burrito," or whatever it is on the table. And then you eat, and then you go, and it tells you to go to a shop, I believe, to go buy a piece of armor or something, or like use the terminal. Um, and then it navigates you to the spaceport, where at the terminal there's going to be a Pisces sitting there waiting for you to spawn. No matter what ship you have on your account, it's always going to be just the one Pisces available. You spawn the ship, it tells you how to turn the ship on, and then fly out, and then fly up to the low orbit station, and then land, and then start your ship. And that's the end of the mission. It kind of just dumps you off at the station, says, "Okay, you're good to play Star Citizen now. Here's, I think, 25K credits for completing this." When it all works. Um, if players die at any point during that sequence, I believe it sends you back to the hab to restart,
Hmm.
if it works properly. Um, it's like, oh, okay, you ate the water, or you ate the burrito, and then you backspaced for whatever reason. You can't get back into the hab to do the rest of the mission. There's a lot of ways that players can break this mission. And I've had a lot of new players coming in during guide sessions that say, "Hey, I tried the tutorial and it broke. I had to relaunch the game. It just glitched out, didn't progress the mission. Um, and so I'm doing a guide session now because I need somebody to teach me how to play." So it can be broken sometimes, but when the servers are working, uh, it's okay, I guess.
It's
Like
okay.
it does have you go and fly a ship.
It's serviceable for now, is what you're trying to say?
Yeah, and they added it to all of the planets. I don't think they have it in Pyro though.
No, I don't think they do.
No.
So, Sid, you've just joined us in May. What has your experience thus far as a new player been like? How has it been to learn Star Citizen?
I will say that if I was not streaming it and I did not have people playing it with me, it would probably be a hot mess. I mean, it's a hot mess and I have people helping me. So, like that was actually the entire reason why I started streaming it in the first place, actually. I went on a Reddit post to ask for like advice and tips on because I bought the Gollum starter pack and I wanted to know how mining worked if someone could explain it to me because I've heard things about the tutorial. And so, but everything that people said, it was just confusing and it just confused me a lot more. So I was like, okay, well, let me at least just like stream it. If people help me, they do. And if they don't, that's cool too. And I've had a lot of people help me and it's still I still don't know what I'm doing. But I think that the community itself is pretty good on like teaching you things and they're pretty patient because I ask a lot of questions and I do a lot of stupid stuff. So I think that's at least like the good part. Like if you have like either like a bad tutorial or like a game that doesn't explain anything, that at least the player base is willing and able to help.
Okay. Yeah, that's generally been my experience. I would, for those of you who watch only the Captain's Table or only the Astro Historian, I do also do a series on YouTube called Zero to Hero, where I have been playing the game since 2014, so like I have a lot more experience. But I start with just a starter pack and see what it's like to be a new player in Star Citizen with just a starter pack, with the knowledge of that, of what I know of how to play the game. And my general experience with it is, if I didn't know what I was doing, it would be a lot harder to do this. Even with the tutorial, which tells you a little bit, there just isn't quite enough guiding that can happen that can really get people to understand not only what to do, but why you're doing what you're doing. You know, like there's nowhere in the new player experience that's like you have to eat and drink, because if you don't eat and drink, you will die. Like that's not something that's natural to people in a game like Star Citizen. You know, maybe in like a survival game, but not in Star Citizen. You know, it's a spaceship game. Why do I have to eat and drink? Um, and so it's okay, but it's still very reliant on other players. You know, both of you have had the experiences of followed from the perspective of somebody who is actually helping players, and Sin, you have a newer player who has had players help you, would probably agree on like players are almost required. You need other people to help you out in order to really get into the game. So
Yeah, it's brutal playing by yourself. The best ship is friendship, and it's multi-crew grouping up is OP.
Yeah.
There's nothing. It's the best strategy. Um, I will say that the mission, the new player experience mission, um, like it just does the very tip of the iceberg. Um, I think you saw the CitizenCon presentation, that had all the social tools,
Yeah.
and there was in that the player beacons for guide system stuff. It's like, hey, I want to learn mining, and there was some ideas on there that I really really enjoyed seeing, of like, hey, if you want to teach this thing, you got to be able to do these couple of missions that kind of give you the experience that you need to then go and teach it. Because right now anybody can sign up to be a mining instructor, even if they've never done mining.
I,
Um,
I've joked that I want to sign up for the guide system. I'd sign up for the guide system. And have you seen Super Troopers?
I know of it.
Okay, so there's a great scene in Super Troopers where the basic idea of Super Troopers is they're highway patrol guys, but it's a comedy movie, so they're just pranksters, and they pull over these guys who are high on like mushrooms, and they like mess with them because they know they're high. So like they'll show up and knock on their window, and then they'll look at them, and then when they're like paying attention to something else, they'll just like dip down so they don't see them, so they look like they've disappeared, and then they'll walk up again, make them look like. So they put them in their squad car, and they get a call for some place else, so they go over to this other place, and then they walk into this thing, and there's some gunshots, and then this other guy runs out like a wig and jumps into the squad car with the three stoners in the back and looks back and goes, "Do you boys like Mexico?" And then just starts driving the car around to freak them out. Um, that would be me. It would be with guide system. I would be the guy. You show up and it's just like, son, how do you feel about Grand Theft Auto? Do you enjoy? Are you okay with how do you feel about the Second Amendment? Because we're about to go express our Second Amendment rights right now. You know, welcome to Pyro. I've kidnapped
Pick
you and
somebody
brought you
up
to
and
Pyro.
yeah. Oh my gosh. One of my favorite things to do is go and sit at Everest Harbor by Genie or Tressler or Seraphim, and watch and wait for people who are, like during free flies especially, coming out of the elevators from their hangars into the social area wearing the tutorial armor. And I go, okay, this person just finished the tutorial. It's a very distinct armor set.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, you're at the end of the tutorial. Can I go take you on a mission? Let's go do some stuff. Because there's looking around, deer in the headlights. Like, what do I do? What's next? And I'm just like, hey, let's jump in my Starlancer tag. Let's go do some missions, and try to show them the rest of the game. And we'll hop in voice.
All right, so let's go on to the next discussion, because I think we're going to talk a little bit about the bike beacon system and what they can do in the future in terms of like what they should do in the future. Let's talk about the downsides of the current system and then work our way back up. Sin, what's your experience in terms of the downsides of the new player experience? What does CIG fall down on when it comes to introducing new players to the game?
I'll say the tutorial for one, but then also like after the tutorial, like I either feel like the tutorial needs to be longer, or like maybe you pick a route and like what you're interested in. So like if you're interested in like mining, like maybe there's a route for that, or if you're interested in like like combat, you pick that route because there's a lot of buttons and there's a lot of things that are not like, oh, so like this is what you look at to check if, like, for example, like your landing gear is down or up. Like, yeah, I see that, but like if I've never played this game before, I don't exactly know what that is or what that does. I've accidentally self-ejected plenty of times and I still continue to do so. So I think that it could maybe explain some of those mechanics just a little bit better. Because, like I said, if I did not have other people to play this game with when I first started, I honestly probably would have never like played it again just because of how I had to have someone hold my hand for me to be able to just simply fly. And I still suck at flying. Or, how do you change a weapon? Like just simple stuff like that is not really explained. So I think that's something that could maybe change.
Apollo, same question to you. What does CIG fall down on currently in terms of like the new player experience and getting new players to play the game?
There's no explanation on how to make money. It tells you that the mission system exists, um, but like things like mining and cargo commodity hauling and stuff like that, uh, it's not immediately clear how you go and make credits um, outside of the mission system. Some people don't know that you can make credits outside of the mission system. Um, it also it only very rudimentarily gives you navigation assistance. Like using the quantum system is still not great. I mean, it's way better than we had before. I mean, being able to search for locations and set routes to them is good. Um, but you don't know why you would go anywhere. Uh, you don't know necessarily what places are good to go buy a piece of armor that you want. I mean, there's all of these tools exist outside of the game.
Mhm.
Players and communities and websites have sprung up to give you this information, but you have to dig and you have to be willing to dig. Like having the wiki up on the side monitor, uh, like Finder, Seastone, Cornerstone, item finder,
Yeah, there's
Purple,
what am I looking at? Looking through my own ones. UEX Corp.
UEX. Yep. So we can. A lot of people have suggested that CIG should improve their tutorial and add things to the tutorial, and it's like, yeah, they could, but as long as they keep changing the core gameplay, if they change the flight model, they might change keybinds. So every time the keybinds change, we have to change the tutorial, and that's how it was sat for so long, and why we never got a tutorial after that first one existed for a long time.
Yeah. Um, I will say, generally speaking, I think you're both hitting on something similar to what I was going to say, which is context. There's just no context of what you're doing. Like,
Yep.
there, I'm the lore guy. I'm the guy who likes stories and stuff like that, and so there's definitely some story elements there. But just there's a tutorial is one thing, but it also kind of needs intro missions for every profession to teach you like what these professions are, how to do them, why you should do them, what is the what are the advantages of doing them. And this may sound really like basic, but sometimes you need someone just like a mission giver to talk to you and tell you this is how you make money. Money can be exchanged for goods and services.
Yeah.
Like you're not that simple, but in a effective way, like what a credit is, where you can buy credits for that sort of thing. So it's definitely there's a lack of context in the system right now, and it's overly reliant on players to just sort of know what they're supposed to do or to look at like guides and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, as a guy who makes tutorials and stuff like that on every so often, that's great for me. But I'd rather people learn it in the game rather than come watch a video that I make.
Yeah.
Now let's flip the script and let's talk about what they do well. What does CIG do well currently for the new player experience? Apollo.
It exists. It didn't exist before.
That's true.
We have something, and if they complete it, they get to go. They make it to a station. and then they can go on their adventures from there. I think the mission itself, focusing on the mission itself, um, doesn't give the whole picture. Having the guide system exist really helps, and they have been pushing its existence. We just finished the Foundation Festival. On the main menu of the game now, there is a Find a Guide button, which is amazing. That didn't exist before. It's go talk to people, go make friends. This is a multiplayer game. Go have some other people bring you through all of these missions. MMOs, like, have you played MMOs that have a really what comes to mind with a really good tutorial in an MMO?
God. Dune, the new Dune game is a pretty good tutorial. But
Okay.
it's just like I can't not typically, like, I don't remember a tutorial from WoW, but I remember a lot of it reliance on players knowing what an MMO is to be able to play it. It was my first MMO, but even then I kind of knew what RPGs were, so I could figure out how it worked. But definitely wasn't a great.
I think for me, Final Fantasy 14 comes to mind. I think that's a pretty decent tutorial.
Does it bring you into, like, at the end of the tutorial, is there like a dungeon that you go into?
There's like a entry level dungeon that everyone knows that's like the first dungeon that players go to, but no, not right at the end of the tutorial.
Okay. So, like, if a new player had to go try Hathor, or
Oh
like
God.
this new right, exactly. But we see these missions for Wicklow, and Wicklow's like, I want this Karanite or Jacklium or whatever.
Yeah.
And then players are like, what is Karanite? And they go and find it's like, oh, you have to use this big event mining laser thing. And then they're like, shit, I'm seeing streamers do this, I'm seeing YouTubers do this, but like every time I go over there's always an Idris floating in the sky killing everybody that shows up. And they're like, I can't even do it by myself. And then you get a lot of people that are just bitter because they can't do anything by themselves in an MMO. And I find that kind of it's valid.
Yeah.
I'll say it's valid, but also in an MMO, we should expect that there should be some content that is going to be impossible or very difficult to complete solo.
To play the devil's advocate there, though, a little bit is I think one of the things that's wrong with that is more to do with framing, like, because like if I know a raid is happening, if I'm an MMO and I go to a place that has like a big sign, it'll tell me, or it'll give me signs saying this is a raid. I'll go, okay, I should probably not do this solo, or this is a dungeon, I should probably not do this solo. There's really nothing that's like, other than in the mission description, you should bring some friends. And I always get shit for this, but gamers don't read. Like,
Yeah.
people don't read mission descriptions. They'll read but if you have someone tell them through voice, they'll listen to them. People are more interested in that. So, like, there are things that can happen that they just, like I said, lacks context. So, Sin, what does Star Citizen do well in terms of the new player experience?
Yeah, I don't really have anything to say on that because in my personal experience, I don't feel like there was really much of anything. The only thing I can say is that the find a guy thing, I think that's really cool. I haven't personally used it, but I know some people that have used it and they've said that like that's how they met like their friends in the game now. That's how they like found an org that they're now a part of. So even though I don't have personal experience with that, I have heard that that is a really good thing that they've introduced.
I will defend CIG only on one point, which is they brought back Gilly, and I think the Gilly Gauntlet missions are the best thing they've done for new player experience. They just need to guide people towards it a little bit more. Those of you who don't know, they introduced it in not this last patch, but the patch before last. And it's basically a series of progressively harder combat missions that goes you through every single version of a combat mission you can have in the game as it is right now. And you can do them, you can repeat them, you can do them, but you have to complete them to unlock the next step. So when you get to like step 4 or 5, Gilly's like, bring friends, and people don't listen to him, and then they go, man, I get my ass kicked in 4 or 5. It's like, yeah, because you're supposed to bring friends. But I think like CIG has definitely, I think, unlocked something with the Gilly stuff. If there was a Gilly style mission for every profession, that would be a lot better off in terms of teaching new players what to do. Because it doesn't
Absolutely.
it doesn't hand you. Like Gilly doesn't just say, here you go, good luck, kid. Or like, hey, shoot this spot for maximum damage. He's just like, here's a bunch of enemies, shoot them. And he does the thing that I always love in video games, which is like over positivity. Like no matter how good or bad you did, he's like, man, you are a hell of a fighter. You're doing really good, doing better than some of my other candidates. It's like, oh, thank you, Gilly. Even if you were awful.
In the mission description, I think it's the pilots that you're fighting are his former students.
Yeah. So like, yeah,
I think that's kind of
he
hilarious.
even says that they're his former students rigged in special rigs so they won't die, but it's to get through that stuff. So, but
yeah, it doesn't tell you how to cycle targets necessarily.
Yeah.
Or like how to fire missiles necessarily. Or like how to use your there's no like pop up on the screen like here use your chaff, use your flares.
I think that's fine though. Like maybe this is me from like looking at Dark Souls and other games like that. Those games don't tell you all of the mechanics. You're expected to learn the mechanics, and sometimes, as I think somebody in chat says, I learned by dying. Like sometimes you just got to learn by bashing your head against the wall several times. But eventually you can look up your control schemes or stuff like that. And there is hints. Does the hint system still work? The little tool pop-ups that work?
It's like context aware hinting,
Yeah.
and sometimes the context that it pulls from your current game state is completely wrong.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's there, but it's not great.
So they're improving. That's what I'll say. My goods. Let's move on to discussing what CIG should do in the future in terms of improving the new player experience. So I'll start with you on this one, Sin. Now that you've been through this for a couple of months now, what would you like CIG to do to make another person's experience better in terms of like what would have want when you first started the CIG to have in the game when you first started playing?
I think just getting you exposed to the different things that are in the game. Like I said, like I bought that mining starter pack. I still have not touched mining, and it's been 3 months. I have never, I think I've flown that ship once when I blew my other one up and I just wanted to get somewhere. And I still have not touched it. I still don't know how it works. So I think maybe just like I mean, and that's really not their fault, right? That's
Yeah.
my fault that I didn't like go into that. But I think having something like that, because if I were wanting to get into it right now, I really wouldn't even know where to start. So I think having something available for people to know, like, hey, this thing is there, or like how people have like the beacon system. Like, I think being able to see what that looks like, right? So maybe having like a NPC that you have to go save. Like, I think something like that, just so you get different aspects because you don't know, like maybe medical gameplay might be something that you're really into. So I think just maybe for the new player to experience different aspects of the game or even like that unverified tab. Like I still don't really know anything about that. So just to be able to explore everything that the game has because someone like me who typically falls into the pew pews, I might be interested in some of that other gameplay, but I don't really know what's there or how it works because it's not like brought up to me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're not really being exposed to it in a way that it's
Yeah.
like naturalistic.
Yeah.
Apollo, same question to you. What would you do to improve the new player experience?
I would just expand it. I mean, ultimately, it's like you're saying, add introductions for more game loops. Right now, there is really Gilly is the only game loop specific tutorial that we have. The new player mission just gets you flying to the station and then land your ship. which can be difficult for some people. You know, that they slam into a station 3 times and then they're like, okay, I'm going to finally land it this time. And it forces you to learn. There are some people that are saying or arguing that hand holding breaks immersion. And like, I kind of agree, but also I've seen so many people just quit the game because it's too difficult
Bounce off of
at
it.
the
Yeah.
beginning. And they see the tutorials on YouTube, and the tutorials are like 2 hours long for just one game loop. And they're like, yeah, maybe not. Like, Sin, if you wanted to try mining, I could bring you on a mining excursion. Have you try hand mining, ground vehicle mining, or like Atlas Geo mining, and then we could try Prospector or Mole mining and go from there and see that there's, you know, it's one of the oldest game loops in the game. It has the biggest proper full fleshed out game experience, from finding rocks, scanning, bringing them in, doing the refining, loading the refined ore into a ship, bringing the ship to a city, and then selling the ore. Right? There's so many pieces in there to learn, that even like a 2-hour guide session isn't necessarily enough to finish.
Yeah.
The community bears a lot of the capability, I guess, for teaching. I think the community, like as much as we want CIG to give us stuff as players, I think the community ultimately will do a better job teaching, just in general, based on the sheer amount of content creators out there making stuff. What I don't think people should do is go to ChatGPT and ask it, how do I play Star Citizen?
Oh God, don't do that.
Don't ever do that. I just did it to see what it would say,
Oh, God.
and it was very outdated and very, very incorrect.
The problem with that is I've seen someone did I was a part of a podcast where someone tried to say, is who's smarter, ChatGPT or Paul? And like the questions that ChatGPT asked for me of like was like completely wrong half the time. Like it didn't even understand the context of what Star Citizen was. So it's like please don't go to ChatGPT to help you out with Star Citizen. It doesn't know. It really doesn't. So
Yeah, it's like, get distortion weapons so you can kill things faster. It's like, no.
yeah. I will say in general, I think CIG needs to add more context because, like Sin was pointing out, like you have a mining starter. There's no way you don't any way of starting mining. I know enough about mining to get started, but like I guarantee you, the first person who if someone tries to do mining with the mining hand mining or whatever, they're gonna blow themselves up if they can't even get the thing started. Like there's no indication that you need to like activate the laser and then use your scroll wheel to increase the power to it, and then you need to keep it within the green zone. There's a lot of visual indicators that would help you out, but most people are gonna just you know like lizard brain their way through, just like blow themselves up 4 times before they figure out what's going on, because I do
When
that.
I tried salvaging for the first time, it took, like, 3 people in a Discord for me to, like, keep switching back to, like, the correct laser to, like, scrape it, but then to switch back, and then, like, some people were playing with, like, sticks, so, like, they didn't have the same keys.
Yeah.
So, like, just different stuff like that. Like, I mean, salvaging is fine, but it took so much for me to figure out, like, how to even do that. Right? And it's not really much to it, but it still took quite some time.
Yeah, and it can take some time, and a lot of people will get into it and kind of understand what's going on, but it's not always intuitive of how things work. It's not like
Right.
if you've played a shooter, Star Citizen isn't that difficult to figure out how to shoot things. It's
Mhm.
Yeah.
most of the keyboards are going to be the same, similar, and even when you're flying around, you can kind of figure things out as you go. Paul, are you going to say something?
Yeah, I think CIG should be louder. Like there should be something in the game that is louder about saying, "Hey, you can rent ships."
That too.
Um, because people just sprint past the rental terminals.
Yeah.
And that's actually my recommendation for new players usually is is do a couple of hauling missions. And if you can't do hauling, I don't know, find a couple of friends, pool your money together and rent a C1 Spirit.
Yep.
And then do some hauling missions. And then that'll pay for the next rental, which I usually recommend as a Taurus.
Yeah, well, the thing is,
Um,
Apollo, you already sped past another problem. None of those players know that you can actually send people money in
Also that.
the
Base
game.
Cash App, you know?
Yeah. They don't know that we actually have a cash app in game for sending cash,
True.
sending credits to other people. There's nothing about that. I mean, really, what they need, and this is going to sound really weird, is I know, and I think you're right in the sense that like we need a instanced new player experience, which has got a lot of voiceover and characters, and like you need like a 2 to 3 hour sort of like handholdy single player sort of experience to just get you the basics and understanding how the game functions, and then a smooth handoff to welcome to the universe. And I think the guide system in game will help. One of the things that I've always suggested is using in-game organizations that run specific like things. So like the transport guild or the transport guild versus the mercenaries guild, and have those guilds have specific mission sets where if you want to be sort of a guide, you have to complete those, and then those will be available for you to accept for new players. And kind of like a guild where you are the journeyman or the master and they're the apprentice, and you're teaching them how to do things in game. But it's a benefit that both of you get benefits from it because you're both doing the mission to both earn rewards. So there's an incentive for you to teach these people how to do it. But you also kind of need that little bit of like, gilly sort of experience and a sort of a closed box where you can't get out of it, but it teaches you how to do it. Now, I don't want that to be everyone has to do it, but there's definitely should be like an opt-in situation with that, where there's a little bit of hand holding, but it's also cinematic and immersive and that sort of thing to get people to really understand what Star Citizen's about, and then give them options to chart through those things of what they want to learn, and then let them deposit. I don't think that's ready yet. I don't think Star Citizen's ready for that yet, but I do think that they should be thinking about that in the near future. All right, I'm going to ask this last question, and then we'll wrap up and move to the question and answer session. For those who don't know, we've already been going for almost 40 minutes. I'll start with you on this one, Apollo. If you were to give an advice to somebody who's brand new, because I know when I started the stream, there were at least 4 people in the chat who said, I'm new. I've never played Star Citizen. I'd like to get Star Citizen because of the title. What advice would you give to somebody right now who's looking to get into Star Citizen in terms of how they can understand the game?
Find multiple orgs. Just play with people. That's the simplest advice, is other people are going to have the experience and the ships and the credits available to open up the entire game to you. I mean, you can go in by yourself. If you are antisocial and you don't like other people, which I understand, there are people that are like that. That's okay. This is an MMO. It's a massively multiplayer game. The game really, really shines when you play with other people. That said, if you have to go in by yourself, do some cargo hauling. Do the small cargo hauling missions that pay 50k. Start from Seraphim Station. Start from Seraphim and go down to August Dunlow. There are missions that pay 50k. Exactly 50k. You can take multiple of them if you have a large enough cargo ship. And then you can do all of them at once. So one route can pay you 200k if you have 4 missions. And you just load all the boxes on your ship, you fly them to August Dunlow, you deliver them into the freight elevator. There are tutorial videos that show you exactly what to do if you're confused. Yeah, August Dunlow, Seraphim Station are great. The other one that does that same exact thing with the 50k is going to be by Genie Point to Area 18's spaceport. The one at New Babbage and the one at Lorville, Microtech and Hurston, those missions send you to extra destinations,
Which don't
have
work.
multiple drop-off points. It takes longer. It's confusing. There are like distribution centers and stuff you got to go to. No, just do Seraphim or Bygenie for your cargo hauling missions, and earn some credits doing that, and then rent the Taurus, the Constellation Taurus. Find out where to rent that. That is a really solid combat capable ship that has a pretty big cargo bay. It lets you loot things from ships that you killed. It also lets you do the bigger cargo missions, and it lets you do the ghillie missions up to like number 5 or 6 with just one ship.
Sid, same question to you. If you were going to give advice for a brand new player who's coming into the game, what would you say?
I've actually given advice to new players coming into the game because I actually get a lot of new people come into my streams, and I always say play with people. I either say find someone in game that you can play with, or if you want to play with me and my ragtag team of some new people and some veterans, I think that would be the best thing. Just because, again, it can be kind of confusing, and I know for me, like if I had to play by myself, I probably wouldn't play. Not because it's not fun by myself, but just because like what Apollinaut was saying, like the game shines when you are playing with other people and you end up learning like new things. Like I taught a veteran something new that they didn't know. So you never know like what cool things you're gonna learn and you never know what cool things you're gonna experience. So I would just highly recommend like trying to find just anybody to play with if you can.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna echo this. Someone asked also in chat, like, how do you find an org? Just read the description. Read the description. You go to the orgs on in the game. You can go to the community, go to organizations. Just find. You can sort by number of people, and the big organizations typically are usually pretty active, and almost all of them have some sort of thing to go through. But if you read the description, if you don't want to be a part of a giant organization, read through the descriptions and figure out what they are. You can sort them by number, you can just sort them by type. There's lots of different ways you can do stuff like that. Watching videos online helps, but talking with other people is the most important thing. There are ancient forms of wisdom that people like myself know, which can teach you a lot about not just the game, but also workarounds and other things like that. And there are things that I don't know. Like I couldn't tell you what it takes to mine or refine. I haven't done mining or refining ever in my.
We
in
should
my
all go.
experience.
I'll take you on a mining excursion.
I've done hand mining and I've done mining in the past, but I've never had to go through before they had refining into the game, and before that whole process happened. And it's been updated a bunch of different times. I'm going to be doing it tomorrow with my organization, but having other people around you will teach you a lot more about the game than yourself. And YouTube can help, but it's not a replacement for other people because sometimes you'll encounter a very specific problem that the other people in your group will know exactly how to face, even if it's technically related. I know lots of people who said like the game is stuttery and it's awful for me, and the first thing that comes up is like, do you have an SSD? And they're like, no. It's like, well, you need an SSD for the game. So like there's some stuff like that as well. There's also a great resource, I would say, if you're having technical issues, which is the volunteer help desk. You can go to Spectrum, go to the chats. One of the top chats is the Star Citizen Volunteer Help Desk, which is all run by players. So if you're having some technical issues, they can help you out real quick. And of course, as Apollo who's here, the guide system exists. So if worse comes to worse and you can't find other people, the guide system is pretty good for people to get stuff. So
Play.sc/guide.
Yeah, there we go.
For the guide system. That's the quick link. Yeah, play.sc/guide. Also, the Star Citizen subreddit Discord, discord.gg/Star Citizen, exists and has like 130,000 people in it. It's insane. There's always groups of people playing in there. You know, it's kind of a crapshoot about the quality of. Anyway,
Yeah.
It's a huge community. You're gonna find people in there that are gonna be able to teach you things. They have a help desk channel in there as well. They have a orgs advertisement channel. They have a looking for org post forum thing you can go into, say like, hey, I'm from Switzerland and I need people in my time zone to play with, or or I'm from the West Coast US and all my East Coast friends go offline by the time that I'm ready to play. I need some West Coast players. That kind of thing happens. So yeah, a lot of people just kind of hop in voice channels randomly and float around.
Hmm.
Um, but like you said, can I talk about finding orgs for a second?
Sure.
Yeah. So what I've been recommending a new player to look for an org, like you can just go on the website and filter by size. Also add your language. Like there are Spanish speaking orgs, there are French and German speaking orgs. Um, Go in and select your language and select. I would recommend groups that are between 50 to 2 to 300 players. What I've found generally is you have a 10 to 20% active player number. So if you have 100 people in a group, you're going to have 10 to 20 people that play. And that's been generally true for a few years. Streamers are also a fantastic way to find communities. I've found generally that it's difficult to stream and also run an event with other players at the same time.
Oh, that's true.
Um,
I don't. That's
and so
I have an entire organization of people of for my org that actually literally runs all of the events. I just am there. So
yeah, that's the best way to do it. Streamers that try to run and coordinate their group of people at the same time as streaming, it ends up conflicting with your attention and with like with chat, and the comms get messy. So yeah, you kind of have to um, get officers to go and design and run events so that you can participate. Um, if you need to. Orgs, by the way, the giant mega orgs, uh, some of them have become mega orgs through spam recruiting.
Hmm.
And CIG has kind of clamped down on the automation that used to happen. You used to sign up for an account and get within 5 hours like 4 org invites after you made a new account. It's like, how are they doing this? They ended up kicking that, but mega orgs, again, kind of a crapshoot. You're going to play with different people almost every time you play. It's kind of, you find a couple of people that you're close with, but it's hard to like really get a solid group of people consistently. Whereas a smaller or medium sized org from like 50 to a couple hundred players is going to be a better, more consistent experience, in my opinion. Also, don't settle for the first org that you join necessarily,
Yeah.
unless they're fantastic. You can be in up to 10 orgs on your profile. You have one that you can set as your main, and you have 9 secondary orgs, and just be in multiple. They're all Discord servers. Your Discord server list is limited to 100 unless you have Nitro. Find orgs that play when you're free. If there's one org that does events every Sunday and Thursday, and you're like, I have Tuesdays and Wednesdays free as well, and I want to play, go find an org that does events on Tuesday or Wednesday. Go make friends, play with people. That's really it.
The thing is Star Citizen can be played solo. I don't think it's the best enjoyed solo. I think both of us, all of us here, will echo that. It's like it's a game that's designed for you to play with other people. You can play solo, but the best experience is with other people. And if you want to have the best experience coming in as a new player, find a group. Find a group and jump in. And if you find the right one, you're good. What if you
It's
don't
a
like
lot
playing
of
with other
people.
people? You can also not play with other people, but you're gonna have a harder time. It's just going to be more difficult for you until CIG has those tools in place to help those people. And even then, there'll eventually be things you just can't do solo. You have to have other people. So, and some say I'm terrible at talking with people. You don't have to talk with people. Most orgs, like my org for instance, there is at least 3 or 4 people who don't talk. They don't have mics. As long as they're communicative or they follow around the directions, it's usually fine. And the people who do have mics, even if they speak a little bit, they don't speak a lot. It's mostly just, hey, we're going to do this, and if you have a good organization or a good group of people, it's just more of a, working together to do something. So yeah, well, I think this is a good discussion. Thank you so much, Sin, and to Apollo for coming and talking with us about this. We're going to be this is going to be the end of this first section, but we're going to be moving on to our second section, which I like to call our After Dark section, where we take questions from the audience. They get a little bit more spicy. They're going to get a little bit more controversial. But this, for the recording, this is going to be it for now, and that will be uploaded in a couple of days. I have new technology, so things have gone wrong dramatically. So I was only able to get one video, one part of the last video out. But if you did enjoy this, make sure you're checking out Sinful Strife at twitch.tv/Sinful Strife, right? Like just like it's spelled, or okay. And
Yes, that's correct. Yep.
And Apollo, where can they find you?
I'm in the California Star Citizen Events Discord. I'm also one of the admins of Sol Armada, the org. We've been around for 10 years. We have about 50 to 60 active players. Solarmada.space.
Awesome. And if my voice is a little out of sync, that's just the way it is right now, chat. I can't change that right now, unfortunately. But thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. And like I said, stick around. If you have a question, put little questions in brackets beforehand, and then you type your question out and the bot will pick it up. Make sure to check us out live. Twitch.tv/theastropub, youtube.com/@the-captain's-table-podcast on Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. We'd love to have you come on and join us live and enjoy these when we do them. Thank you for watching. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday